Hello and welcome to Studio 311. My name is Mike Weaver and I'm joined in the studio today by the voice of Washington and Lee sports, Jeremy Franklin. While Jeremy is well known for his color commentary of games at WNL, he also has another important role in the Lexington community. Jeremy has been a board member of the historic Lime Kiln Theater since 2015, and today we welcome him to talk about the Kiln. So welcome, Jeremy.
Thank you, Mike. Good to be here.
Yeah. So for those who don't know anything about the Kiln, can you give some background about the events that take place and kind of the overall goal of the theater?
Sure. Our goal is to be one of the premier performing arts venues in the Shenandoah Valley, if not on the eastern seaboard of the United States. We're currently doing a summer concert series, usually anywhere between 8 and 12 music events, sprinkled in with 1 or 2 theatrical productions. And there are also of non-Lime Kiln events. You can rent Lime Kiln. The Rockbridge Beer and Wine Festival from the Chamber of Commerce is hosted there every year. So in addition to our schedule, there are other things that happen at Lime Kiln.
Great, so it's a rentable venue and people can rent the space if they want to host an event there?
Absolutely, and we have lots of organizations from Washington and Lee that do just that.
Yeah, great. So as a board member of the Kiln, what is your role in planning the operations of the theater?
Sure, so our board of directors is a working board. We are not just a governing board where we make decisions, we actually execute those decisions as well. I serve as the chair of our marketing committee, so I'm responsible for public relations, for our social media, our email list, press releases, any kind of marketing and communications items that are happening for Lime Kiln.
Yeah, well, marketing is very important for a theater, especially when you're hosting events on a weekly basis. So you've been on the board since 2015. What has changed in the last 4 years? Has there been a lot of recent development?
I think our shows are just getting bigger and better. We've made some great site improvements that I believe you'll be asking me about a little bit later on in the conversation. But our season is gradually expanding. We run from May to September. When I started, it was basically June through August. So we have more events when school is still in session at Washington and Lee, including a concert this weekend that has been sold out for a while, no tickets available, but we do have several concerts now when Washington and Lee students are on campus.
Great. So I know that there's been kind of a rebirth of the Lime Kiln, and the theater was actually shut down for a year in 2012. So when Spencer McElroy took over as executive director, how did that fuel the rebirth of the Kiln?
Well, Spencer's done an amazing job with Lime Kiln. I think anyone who has attended a show can speak to that. Certainly anyone who's been directly involved, as I have with Lime Kiln, can talk about just how much dedication he has shown, how much drive there was to get the venue back up and running after, as you said, it was shuttered for a couple of seasons in 2012 and 2013. So it was a lot of hard work and elbow grease for Spencer and the other board members who joined him back in 2013 when they were relaunching things at Lime Kiln, but I think it's paid off very well.
Yeah, for sure. So this summer I was actually lucky enough to see Chris Thiele perform. So how has the Kiln been able to attract these big names, these award-winning artists?
Well, we have the history, of course. We've been a performing arts venue for over 3 decades, so even though it was closed for a couple of years, Chris Thiele, for example, performed way back when with Nickel Creek and with a band called the Mutual Admiration Society several years past. So he was already familiar with the venue, and we get that a lot from artists who maybe have played there in the past. I think the beauty of the venue, it's distinct. If you're doing a run of club shows, even at really nice indoor venues, there's something pretty special about a Lime Kiln show. And I think it spreads through word of mouth, through the bands and their management. We'll often get inquiries from artists who want to play at Lime Kiln.
Really? So, you talk about the uniqueness of the Lime Kiln. Can you kind of describe the space and what it's like to see a show there?
Sure. I don't think words will do it justice, but I'll do my best. So the Lime Kiln was an actual lime kiln, and parts of that structure from the late 19th century are still standing and have been restored. So we're right on the edge of Lexington, but you feel like you're off in the woods somewhere. Our main venue, the Bowl, is a natural amphitheater that runs back up a hillside, and then where the actual kiln is that was used in the 19th and 20th centuries, that's our rain location now, the Kiln venue covered tent and stage there.
Great, so you have outdoor and indoor potential space for inclement weather.
Not completely indoor, it's not completely enclosed, but that is our rain location on site now in case of inclement weather.
Gotcha. So guests don't have to worry about a rain delay or a rain cancellation.
Ideally, we've had some bad luck with the weather this year when we were assured that there was a 0% chance of rain and the thunderstorm has broken out at 9:30 in the middle of the music, but those are the kind of hazards that you have to live with as an outdoor venue.
Yeah, and especially in the Shenandoah Valley, weather can change very quickly, so Gotta be ready to adjust. So I understand there were some big improvements made to the theater before this summer. Can you talk about what changed and what you guys added?
Sure. Well, it's been the last 2 years in particular. So the Kiln is our rain location. That was new for 2018. That's part of why we've been able to expand our schedule and run from May to September. We used to come to Washington and Lee for our rain location, either the Pavilion or Linfest, and those venues just aren't available when classes are in session. So now that we have our own rain location on site, we built a brand new stage underneath the large tent that covers the Kiln, and we've made some significant improvements to sound and lighting in the bowl venue as well. Those were the big things, including a cover for the bowl stage that was in place for the start of this year.
Awesome. So are there any more improvements that you guys are even thinking about or maybe already in progress for next season?
I'm not sure that there's anything concrete, but we're always trying to improve our guest experience. In terms of additional quality seating areas. If you've been to a lime kiln show, we've got that great hillside where people can set up chairs, but we're looking at some other options for more permanent seating in the bowl venue in particular. We want to make sure that our artists have a great experience as well. We don't have a traditional green room, a traditional backstage area, so we're always trying to improve the experience for the bands and artists who play at Lime Kiln as well.
Mm-hmm. So when I was there this summer, I know there was kind of a grassy knoll in the theater where a lot of kids could play and kind of have a good time while the parents were enjoying the show. I think that's a unique feature to have and have a space where kids can have fun there too.
Definitely. We always think we're a family-friendly venue that kids can come and have a safe, enjoyable time, even if they're not maybe as keen on the music as the parents are.
Yeah, for sure. So are there any new initiatives that the Kiln has been working on to involve the Lexington community as a larger entity?
Well, one thing that is part of our mission and that we're looking to improve upon is arts education. We don't have any specifics about that at this point, but we're looking to develop that in the near future. And Lime Kiln historically has been not just a music venue, but a venue for great outdoor theater as well, and we'd love to expand our offerings there.
Yeah, for sure. So volunteers at the Lime Kiln are not just volunteers, but they're referred to as folk. So what makes the people who spend their free time helping the Kiln so special? You know, why do they keep coming back year after year to dedicate their time to the Kiln?
Sure. So FOLK stands for Friend of Lime Kiln, and that's how we view our volunteers. And I am a volunteer. That is what the board does as well. So we have board members, committee members, and then the folks who help us park cars and serve concessions and sell merchandise and take out the trash, all the things that you need to make a music venue happen. And we do have a nice dedicated contingent. So we could not do what we do without such a great group of volunteers. And fortunately, they like us enough that they keep coming back.
Yeah, that's a good thing to have. So hopefully people that are watching the show today want to be involved in the Lime Kiln in the future. Can you talk about how they can be involved or maybe some potential roles that are open for people to start involving in the Lime Kiln?
Sure. Well, the easiest thing to do is go to our website, limekilntheater.org. There are two things you can do there. You can go to the Folks page and get more information about volunteer opportunities, and there's also a Contact Lime Kiln form. So if you have a specific area that you want to be involved in, whether that's marketing or site improvements, you can contact us, send us an email that way and get in touch. But the best way is, I think, through the Folks program to start as a volunteer, and if that leads to something else. I was a folk for an entire summer before I joined the board, so that's a great way to get your foot wet, so to speak, with Lime Kiln.
Great. Well, Jeremy, thanks so much for coming into the studio with me today. And if you're interested in being involved in the Lime Kiln, please go to their website and check it out and become a folk. Thanks a lot, and this has been Studio 311.